Trace, a live interview from KTVU Fox 2. Let's listen.
Shorter hair, by a woman complexion, and it's the lady that got shot in the left leg. She was the one that said, I asked him, well, was it a man, woman? And she said it was a woman. But I didn't see it, but that's what I heard. I heard the actual person that got shot, and then a couple other people said it was a woman. Like witnesses running out from the building.
What's your name?
Tim McCarthy.
M-C-C-A-R-T-H-Y.
So that's a witness to the woman who was shot, saying that the woman who was shot told him that the shooter was a woman. We now have confirmed through the county manager in San Mateo County that the shooter is down. Whether deceased or not, we don't know, but inactive, and the threat is over. Live pictures coming to us from KGO of people still evacuating the building, and largely we wait now to find out from police the extent of the severity of this situation. Let's listen here live.
Yeah, I think in that range. That's about it. Yeah. All right.
Again, witnesses giving their account of things, and as is often the case, different witnesses witness different things. It's a very large facility. They talk about this loading area where there wasn't any trace. It sounds like the shooter had been in the building and then was firing outside the building and people running from the building. It's just all of that happened before the cameras arrived.
And we draw these parallels, Shep, and this kind of brings you back when you don't know if it's a male or a female, and they talk about the fact that Google was having a luncheon party. It kind of draws you back to what happened a couple of years ago here in San Bernardino County when the couple went in and they opened fire in that Christmas party in that medical building in San Bernardino. So it's unclear if this Google gathering was the target. It's unclear exactly now if this person ever made it all the way in to this YouTube luncheon gathering, Google being the parent company of the YouTube luncheon gathering. That right now we don't know. We only have the witness accounts, but when you kind of compare, well, was it a female? Because it's very rare to have a female go in and open fire on her own in any type of shooting scenario that we have covered. So that in itself would be exceptional. And so one wonders, is it the scarf that is throwing people off? Because we know whoever the suspect is, we had multiple witnesses, at least two, meaning multiple, that have said this person was wearing a dark shirt and a scarf. So that's about as far as we go. And this person you heard last say with a female complexion. That's about as deep as we've gotten into the gender description so far. And as to whether this person made it inside the building, that is a very big unknown at this point in time, Shep.
It's true. We were showing aerials a little while ago, and you may have seen what appeared to be umbrellas, a number of red umbrellas from a live aerial just a moment ago. It's our understanding. There we go. It's our understanding that this is an area out back where employees come together and eat around the lunch hour a lot of days, and that is a spot that has been in question. That's the one that the Carl's Jr. patron was talking about when giving his description of what he saw and heard. It's our understanding that that's the area, so that you go outside from the secure area to that area, and that's maybe where some of this went down, though the authorities have not been clear about it. We're now told that at 2:30 Pacific time, so just about 5.5 minutes from now, we're expected to get a statement from police on this matter as KTVU Fox 2 continues to cover this live. Let's listen.
Targeted inside and outside, we don't know yet, and hopefully we'll have that answer here in just the next few minutes with this news briefing.
Right, and as we heard from the city manager of San Bruno, letting everyone know that there was no longer a threat to the public. You can also see that right now in the demeanor of law enforcement, firefighters, other officials who responded to this. It is almost as if there is a little bit of a sense of relief as they get ready to leave this scene, perhaps move back a little bit and prepare it to be, the investigation will obviously continue, but that rush, that sort of, we need to get in there, figure this out. It appears as though that initial threat is over. Again, as we heard from the city manager, that there's no longer a threat to the public. Take a look at this map, because this gives you an idea when we're talking about the neighboring businesses, the people nearby who either got their cell phones out and recorded what they were seeing, or called us here at KTVU to tell us what they were seeing going on. There's the YouTube headquarters there indicated, you see there with the red square, and a couple of neighboring businesses. We've spoken to people at the Carl's Jr. It appears, Ken, that the people at that Carl's Jr. really had, and I hate to say this, but sort of a first-hand account of what was going on. It seems as though there was at least some shooting that they were able to see. We know that a couple of victims ran into the Carl's Jr. looking for help. We heard from one witness who says he actually grabbed a bungee cord to try to stop the bleeding on a woman who was either shot in the leg or the foot and then taken to the hospital. I know that earlier on in all of this, you spoke with someone who was at the Walmart e-commerce building, and she told you what she saw during all of this.
Yeah, she said 7 shots. She specifically said 7 shots, and then silence. And she said she looked out the window and she saw people running out of the YouTube building with their hands in the air.
Reporter live on scene now. Let's listen.
Has witnesses said that to you as well?
I know. I couldn't even speak to that.
Does anybody know? Shooter's a woman or a man?
This is a sort of behind-the-scenes look. This is a feed going to our station, KTVU Fox 2, as reporters are working to find things out, back to their live coverage on station.
The shooting made their way trying to get help, and people at those restaurants rendered first aid to help those people out. So, dramatic situation.
And we are getting some new information. This really coming in just a moment ago. I mentioned seeing that body covered with a yellow tarp there at the scene, but we are now getting confirmation from the San Mateo County coroner that that office has indeed been requested to respond to the YouTube headquarters, the scene of this shooting, the scene of this active shooter situation. They would not elaborate on exactly what they're being called for, but one can assume the coroner only responds to a scene. At least one person dead. So the headline at this hour, as we sit here and wait to hear from the San Bruno police chief, who is expected to update us on the ongoing situation, the San Mateo County coroner is responding to the YouTube headquarters.
The live pictures you're seeing appear to be a window shot out. If the reports from witnesses are accurate, there was certainly a lot of gunfire, and we heard one witness describe a victim being shot as many as 10 or 11 times. Again, that's what the witness said. The local anchors there mentioned that we're expecting the San Mateo sheriff to come and give details in just a moment. We have indications that the president has been briefed on this. The feds are staying out of it for the moment. The FBI has been notified. They're watching, letting the locals handle this, which is, I don't know, on the surface a good sign. The ATF is en route to the scene, the Office of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, en route to that scene there, and waiting to hear from authorities, scheduled to be in a minute and a half from now. For those of you who may be joining, expecting to see the 5 on Fox News Channel or local programming on the local station on which you're watching, this is continuing coverage of what has been reported by police to be an active shooter situation at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, San Mateo County. And the authorities have now told us that the active shooter situation is over, that the shooter himself or herself, we really can't know until authorities give us the definitive word on that. At any rate, the shooter has been taken down, and that the urgency of the matter has passed. A live report now coming from the scene. Let's listen.
Guys, I've been talking to some witnesses who do not want to go on camera, but one told me that, as you've been saying, the shooter is a woman, and that she apparently killed herself after what they believe shooting her boyfriend. We don't have any confirmation from police. Police are being very tight-lipped. I believe you said that the San Bruno police chief is going to be actually holding a presser and putting out the fine details to this. But from what I'm hearing from witnesses, A, the shooter was a woman, B, that she may have taken her own life after shooting her boyfriend. We do not know what precipitated the violence, though, guys.
Jesse, do you know how these people know this information? Did they witness any of this?
A lot of these people are witnesses or very close to the shooting scene when this all went down. But I don't know, have direct knowledge as to whether they know the woman, etc.
And did they say anything at all about her relationship to YouTube or the boyfriend's relationship to YouTube? What's the connection here? Do you know?
Haven't gotten that. I'm guessing that one or both worked at YouTube, but I don't know because, as we said earlier, there was some kind of private party or function at the YouTube headquarters, and so maybe that's how she was able to get in. But again, I don't have the exact tie between YouTube and the shooter, but we're still working on it. Yeah.
And Jesse, whenever you talk to these people, did they describe themselves as YouTube employees, or again, as you say, just people in the area who witnessed some of the chaos that ensued?
A lot of these people are people who were in the area, who witnessed the chaos, who were close enough to either hear the rounds or see people running or help people to safety, etc. So that's where we're getting a good portion of our information. A lot of the YouTube employees are the ones you saw who were walking out with their hands in the air to show law enforcement that they are not a threat, and that's not a standard procedure these days.
Sure. Jesse, I just want to go back to something.
2:31 in the afternoon now. Marla Tejas here, coming to you from the Fox 11 newsroom to give you an update on what we can tell you what's happened in the Bay Area at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno. You've been listening in to our network coverage and also our sister station up in the Bay Area, KTVU, and their live reporting. That's Jesse Gary there currently giving a report, and here is what we can tell you at this hour. That multiple people have been injured in what was deemed initially first called in as an active shooter situation at YouTube headquarters, just a massive campus just south of San Francisco in the Bay Area. The good news at this point is no longer is there a threat to the public because there are reports that the shooter, reportedly a female shooter who opened fire at potentially some sort of a party inside YouTube headquarters, has been taken down. Multiple people injured. San Francisco General Hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center in the Bay Area, not far from where the shooting happened, and also Stanford Hospital, confirming that they have taken in multiple patients as a result of this shooting that happened shortly after the noon hour there at the YouTube headquarters. So again, we are also hearing reports that this female shooter may have turned the gun on herself, taken her own life. So again, no longer a threat to the public, but employees there are still being searched one by one at the YouTube headquarters. I mentioned a massive campus, about 200,000 square feet. That's what you're seeing here via the aerials. Some 1,700 employees on the campus. Of course, there are still a lot of unanswered questions, but again, the headline is that a shooting happened at YouTube headquarters, multiple people injured, at least one person dead. The numbers are still premature here. All right, we're going to get back into network coverage, but also tell you that we are waiting for a news conference to get underway in San Bruno to hear from the San Bruno Police Chief and also the San Mateo County Sheriff's Department, the sheriff there in the Bay Area. I also want to mention that you are watching Fox 11 News special coverage at 2:33 here. So as soon as this news conference begins, we will bring that to you. In the meantime, we'll listen back to our network programming.
One is in fair condition.
Paul, did that person give you any indication on how many more patients might be going to SF General?
We asked that question. He would not elaborate. He just said there are more patients coming. We've been out here for about an hour almost now, and we haven't seen any additional cars or ambulances coming here. We're about 9 miles from the actual scene, so we would expect to see more coming at that time. And of course, when we find that out, we'll let you know. But again, he said a new press conference will come at 3:30. He'll bring a surgeon out here to give us detailed information.
Yeah, Paul, and again, I know that they're sort of working all of this out, but did the person say if the man, the 37-year-old man who's in critical condition, if he had been shot more than one time?
I would not elaborate on that. We asked him a lot of those questions. He basically said that he wouldn't give us those details. He'll actually have a surgeon come out and give us the details.
Okay.
But he did say, like I said, the man is in critical condition.
All right. Also want to thank you, Paul. Also want to point out that we had been told that the San Bruno Police Chief was going to have a news conference at the bottom of the hour at 2:30. It is now 2:34. They still may be getting all of
Everything
their
together.
information together. But so now we can say at any moment we expect to have a news conference from the San Bruno police chief to tell us what's going on. So now, Heather, as we look back and kind of reevaluate where we're at, it appears we have a female shooter who was at the YouTube headquarters or some kind of celebration or event inside the building, and apparently she had targeted a boyfriend. This is all from information that is getting passed on to our reporters at the scene, and this will be vetted by the police chief here momentarily. But apparently she was targeting her boyfriend, and the boyfriend was shot. We don't know that boyfriend's status at this point. Several other people were shot, as you're hearing from Paul Chambers and earlier from Maureen Naylor, where there are 3 to 5 other victims that were taken to Stanford. So we're now at least 6 victims suffering from gunshot wounds. And then the shooter, the woman, apparently shot herself. And we know that the San Mateo County coroner has been called to the scene. Whether or not it's just for...
And let's go to the news conference. Let's listen.
And what I'd like to do is just give you a quick briefing and a timeline of what we know now and where we're at this point. So if you'll bear with me, information is coming in. It's obviously a very fluid situation. We're doing the best we can to keep everybody up to date. So at 12:46 p.m. this afternoon, San Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city. San Bruno Police arrived on scene at 12:48 and immediately began a search for a possible shooter or suspect. Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine. We did encounter one victim with an apparent gunshot wound towards the front of the business as we arrived. Several minutes later, while conducting a search of the premises, officers located a second individual with a gunshot wound that appears to may have been self-inflicted. We are still working on confirming that. 2 additional victims were located several minutes later at an adjacent business. The extent of all of the injuries of our victims are unknown right now. They were all transported for emergency medical care, but they are all unknown. So if I miss that, we have 4 victims who have all been transported for gunshot-related injuries, and we have 1 subject who's deceased inside the building with a self-inflicted wound that at this time we believe to be the shooter, but we're still following up on that. Multiple law enforcement agencies have responded to assist. We're very grateful for everyone's help and assistance. We could not have responded and accomplished this without everybody's help. This is an active event and an active investigation, and numerous law enforcement personnel from numerous different local agencies are still conducting a search of the business just to make sure that that it is clear. We conducted a quick, immediate search of the premises when the first officers arrived as pursuant to our active shooter protocol. And after that search was concluded, now we're going through with a methodical, slow search just to make sure that we cover all the bases. That's all I have for you at this time. We hope to have something a little later. I cannot give you the time of the next press update, and we'll put that out as soon as we have that information. I'm sorry? No, I cannot confirm that. It's a female. Yes. My understanding is that they've been transported and they're being treated for injuries that are treatable. We're hoping for the best, obviously.
Are there more people inside the building, or?
My understanding is the building has been evacuated. There are people in the immediate area. We're obviously trying to contact a large amount of people to try to identify and gain some information from witnesses at the scene. So you can imagine it's a monumental task with the number of employees that work inside the building.
Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell us about what weapon or weapons?
I don't have that information. I'm sorry.
Do you have that? So police is like one of the sheriff was?
I haven't taken inventory of all the agencies here. There are numerous agencies. We work well with our neighboring partners, and we're grateful that they're here. But there's a lot of them. Yeah, I want to clarify that we did locate a victim with what we believe to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's a female, but the investigation is still ongoing before we can put all the pieces together.
Is the person an ex-employee?
I don't have any information regarding that. We are clearing the building and searching the building in a slow, methodical manner like we would do anyway. So we haven't eliminated that possibility, but we have no information to suggest that there's somebody else in there that we're looking for.
Where are the employees now? We saw them walking down the street.
Yeah, a lot of employees self-evacuated, as you can imagine. We've identified a group that we want to talk to, and we have staging areas where our detectives are reaching out to them and interviewing them. So we're trying to do as orderly as we can, but a lot of people, pretty hectic scenario. So it's a task. No, I believe my understanding is that the building has been evacuated, so they're all outside of that building.
Okay, how many people are you talking about here?
Several hundred, a few hundred. I'm sorry, a few hundred. It was my understanding. I don't know.
And was her boyfriend there?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know the circumstances surrounding this as well. I don't want to eliminate any possibility. I don't know any of that for sure. Like I said, this is still active. We're still investigating this as I'm speaking to you. So there's a lot of things that I just simply don't know right now. I don't have that information. All right. I will try to get you an update as soon as we can once we know more. But I think that I've given you almost everything that we know at this point. So I appreciate it. Yeah, when we know, I don't want to give you a time because I may not have a lot for you. So when we can identify a time that's appropriate to come back and update you again, we'll do that immediately. We'll probably put that out through our media list and through social media.
Do you understand from one employee that police had to borrow badges in order to access parts of the building? Did you have any trouble getting where you?
I don't have any information regarding that right now. Ready? We're not even at that point yet. We're still trying to address the situation in front of us. Okay, I will get you some more information in a few minutes. I don't know.
All right, you've been listening to the news conference underway in San Bruno right there at YouTube headquarters. Again, this is just south of San Francisco, and San Bruno police officer there, official explaining what happened. Numerous calls, 911 calls came in at 12:46. Police arrived on scene at 12:48 for an active shooter situation. In all, they say that there are 4 gunshot victims. The extent of their injuries, though, is unknown at this time. 1 deceased, 1 dead, and that is believed to be the female shooter. And they say that she possibly died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So again, 4 gunshot victims currently transported to a hospital, being attended to, extent of their injuries not known, 1 dead, and that person dead is believed to be the shooter. The threat to the public, there is no longer a threat to the public at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno. We will continue to stay on this very fluid breaking news situation, and we will bring you the very latest tonight at 5 o'clock. In the meantime, we'll bring you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
All right, we back. Just showed you breaking news. I just woke up. To find out there was a shooting at 12. Around 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock now. And I just posted something this morning, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? I mean, an active shooter? I just posted. I want y'all to hear something I posted last night before I fell asleep this morning. Or actually, it was this morning I posted it. So I'll be up all night. So, but here, let me show you something that I posted with me and where I was at the comedy club on what day was that? Sunday. Today's Tuesday, so I went Saturday. It was Saturday or Sunday. I went Saturday just because it was the day before Easter, the night before Easter. But let me show you what I posted this morning. Well, it's cocaine.
Actually, the bunny represents sex. The bunny represents sex. Wait, what? The bunny represents sex. The bunny represents sex. I got you, brother. I got you. I got you. I got you. The bunny represents sex. The Easter bunny represents sex. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. I said that. And they gotta do that. And they gotta do that. They gotta do that. It's Greek. It's way back in the Greek days. Way back. Way back.
All right. We back. I had to remind myself of something. That's why I like to go back and listen to stuff that I've heard before. That's why I like to record. I've been recording since I was a kid. It's 13, 14. A long time, you know. So now it's like, you know, it's like anyway, you know. So I went to the gym today, right? And I was at I went to the gym in LA, 120th in Kershaw, and when I was there, I'm trying to figure these. My mother called me earlier this morning, or this afternoon. Well, kind of strange, and then so you understand. These women are cause these young girls, they're lost. You know what I'm saying? They're not that they're lost. They're not lost at all. They know everything. You know, but just a little confused. You know, cause you know, ever since Clinton lost, so people are still affected. You have to understand. People are still affected by that. They're really, really affected. That was people were not expecting that. That was some serious, that was some serious. We call that upset. So women hate being upset. You know what I'm saying? They at least they show it. To us. If you that was some serious. We call that upset. So women hate being upset. That was some serious. We call that upset. So women hate being upset. You know what I'm saying? They at least they show. That was some serious. We call that upset. So women hate being upset. You know what I'm saying? They at least they show it. To us. If you just know when they get upset, it's off the chain. So their upsetness has became like silliness. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to be. I have to understand. See, the thing about it is a lot of black people. They still react. They still come at me the same way they come at me from the beginning. Since I came out of Orange County, and people just come at me like they don't know how to come at me. They don't know how to really, Yeah, I understand how you feel because I would feel the same way too. Yeah, but see, you have to understand where I was raised. I was raised always. You always walk around on guard. You always see. You understand. You always gotta be on the move. You gotta be somewhere doing something. There was no relaxation where I did. I had to be doing something. I had to be out there. If I'm not the house, which the house was not. I was trying to get away. I could not stay in the house. My family, it wasn't about that. You know what I'm saying? You was just going to around the house and not do nothing. You know what I'm saying? None of that. No, you don't put you to work. You know what I'm saying? So quite naturally, I'm out there, doing something. Because the minute you sit around and just kick it with these folks that are around, some racism is of some sort is going to develop. Or just hang around with these white dudes or just kick it with them. You know, and I was very, very, because I was raised in a black church, Church of Christ, and they wasn't playing that. We was, understand, that's where black folks went, was church. And we were the only church that got in Christ. The rest of the black church were Baptists. We were all in the same location, downtown Santa, you know what I'm saying, every weekend. Every Sunday we there. During the week I'm there, you know what I'm saying? So that was the second home. I feel like that was my first home, really, but that's in the story. Yeah, so when I'm at the house, man, I'm behind these lines for reals. Cause at least over here in Santa, where I was born and raised in that side, we have a little community. You know what I'm saying? I went to Jackson, Andrew Jackson, and then people went to Lincoln. That was like a rivalry elementary school, like deep in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Of Santa. Santa has, that's why LA really wasn't. I mean, you know, Santa has some hoods, okay? So we let that side. I went over by Costa Mesa side, and that side there's a whole different world. Whole different world. So these white folks would test you. They was testing is is disrespect, you know, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You test somebody that you don't know, whatever, you know, so or somebody that you do know, that can get you, you know, that's disrespect. You know, I'm not gonna say it's we do it naturally. Now it's okay to do it. Now we got all kind of stuff where you gotta almost do it now because someone's, you know, this and that. So, but back then, you know, I've always kept that type of mind frame, and a lot of dudes still do. You know what I'm saying? They still do. They still keep that cold type thing. You know, don't test me. You know, that disrespect. You know, unless you it better be something. You better be something at the end of it. You know, I mean, that's how I feel. But the good thing about it is, you know what I'm saying. The test was there. You know, so I'm like, okay. Always, it could be cool, but all they have to do is it's always the race car. It's always everything I got these white dudes doing. This palm of my hand. You know what I'm saying? But they always gotta bring up that race thing. That race thing, that's what they wanted me to give up. I said, how do I give up being black? But they see my mom was white, light skin, you know what I'm saying? So my father, they knew this shit. They all knew this shit. Can you imagine a motherfucker knowing that? Not knowing none of that since his birth? Not knowing none of that since birth? Growing up with that? And I look back on it now like, damn, that's why this, that's why that. You know? And maybe it's good, maybe it's good, you know. Because I'm saying what I would have done. They probably knew that. Everybody was like, it was me against the world. I mean, was Tupac right about me or what? God damn, man. I mean, I'm like a year older than him. So I'm trying to think. Does the whole world know about you? Y'all know. Listen, I don't know. All I gotta say is, out there in the street, people come in the yard. See, the thing about it is, I was kind of disrespectful to this lady at the gym today, right? I wasn't trying to be. It just happened because she reacted, and you can't tell how these women gonna react. These women, especially older women. She's an older chick. She had to be in her 60s, but her body was better than these girls in their 20s, or whatever age it is. Doesn't matter what age. It's just what you're born with, you know. But